Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from doesbiz.com. In this episode, I'm talking with Linda Reed-Enever about how you can use it in your business. Hello, Linda, and welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Rose. Thank you for having me on today. It's been great to come in and talk about PR today.
Yes, you've been a great. I've been a great fan of yours for a number of years. So it's fun, really good to meet you finally face to face. So a little bit about you is that you have more than 20 years expertise in marketing and public relations, and you specialise in assisting business owners tell their story. And you're renowned as the PR and Marketing Ideas Strategist who has successfully created ThoughtSpot PR, now the Enever Group, and that was created in 2012, and followed up shortly after with Media Connections, a site that directly connects businesses with the media as a place to share stories with journalists and media outlets. So how's that going? Is it still going?
It's still running. We're all still running. So yeah, definitely Media Connections is making some good wins this week. Actually, we've had some members get some amazing news and TV and radio stuff. So it's all good.
Oh, good. Okay, so further than that, you further assist operators navigating the challenging small business landscape. And she launched the online community BusinessBusinessBusiness in 2014. My God, was it that long ago?
It was that long ago, yeah.
Wow, and you offer your PR and marketing expertise to the community of more than 30,000. Wow, that's grown so much.
Yes, it has. Considering it was meant to be a group where me and my business friends would hang out, it turned into an entity all of its own.
It has,
And it's good fun. It's an amazing community run, and we do, especially through COVID, we've thoroughly enjoyed being there to support business owners and give them resources and knowledge and try and break down what's real and what's not.
Yeah, I know you've been offering a lot of training in the group lately, so that's been really wonderful, because I know a lot of groups have not been doing that. They've just been, doing their own merry little thing and hoping that people will interact. But you're quite active in your own group, which is really good to see.
Yeah, well, there's no point in running a Facebook group if you're not going to be active in it. In real honesty, look, as Clive and I say, we're in a privileged position to lead small business owners through challenging times, and COVID-19 we didn't sign up for, but we have to lead through that area and through that, and both being online educators and training business owners to share their story. We didn't just sign up for the group's making amazing wins moments in time. We signed up for the bad times as well. And that means, like, when March 15 hit us this year, and I know it very well, March 15 hit hard. We went into, what can we do? How do we help? How do we disseminate information? There is so much information coming through. And so we had our experts and we had those panels come in there. And that's part of PR. That's still part of public relations, because your public relations are not just with the journalist and with the media outlet. Your public relations is how your people see you, how the community sees you, and all of that. So everything we do in business is PR.
Okay, so can you just explain a little bit more about how actually PR can help a small business,
Yep.
especially a small business, not one that's, more than 50 employees?
Yeah, that's mainly where I work. I don't tend to we do work with large business owners, but I have an absolute passion for watching small business owners get media wins. And I have a passion for watching small business owners, get that win, grow their business, brand their business, move things forward. So that's my space. So I will talk about small business owners. Your large 50 guys, the philosophy is still the same. But this is all about making sure that as a small business owner, you share your story. So PR, first of all, and I think we need to dispel a few myths about the PR and working with the media component as we go out there. PR is all about relationships, and in business you form relationships everywhere, and public relations, as it's confirmed, or being a publicist or publicising your business, is all about interacting with the media to do that. It takes time. I'm going to be really upfront and honest with that. It's about making sure that you make the right touches with the journalist. And we have a saying in this office here that one press release a PR campaign does not make. And we talk really honestly with our business owners about you've got to look at it as strategy. And especially for media connections, we don't offer anything other than a 12-month membership to share your story with the media, because we know it's going to take at least 7 or 8 touches with the journalists. The consistency of putting out your press releases every couple of weeks or months. And we've had a member doing some amazing work. She's been putting out a press release every week, and she's getting some really good wins there at the moment. Now, not that you have to do that, but it's about staying in front of mind. PR is not advertising. That's one of the myths that I really, really, really need to state. If you want to pitch your product, your book, whatever you want to pitch, for example, you can, but you have to do it in an educational way. You can't go, here's my book, buy it. That's advertising. If you want a journalist to run a story on your book, for example, or you want to appear on a podcast to promote a book or a course or something, you need to explain the why, and you need to take some of that wisdom and education that you've put either into that book or into that course or into the business or the cool new thing your business is doing, and actually share that with the media, because PR is about a trade of information for space.
Yep.
Whether that's a space on a website or an advertising space. And the other thing that I love to say is PR is not free. Oh, you've already heard me say it takes time.
Yes.
And it takes either your time, a publicist's time, some of your staff members' time when it goes through it. So we need to make sure that when we are looking at PR, if we're going to do it in-house, we're not approaching it as, oh, this is going to be free media wins for me. We're approaching it as, okay, I'm going to invest some time and some strategy to get a media win, or I'm going to hire an expert to do it for me.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of small businesses fall down. I think they think that PR is actually marketing, and it's not.
They sit together, but they're not. But they're part of a whole overall strategy.
Yeah. So how does one find a PR strategist or PR guru, I guess, such as yourself? Are there a dime a dozen, or are they a niche that you need to search for?
Okay. Couple of things. You can do your own PR journey. There is multiple ways that you can do your own PR journey. Part of the reason we founded Media Connections, which I can't show you the logo, but I can show you the lovely little jockey horse that Charlotte drew for me in the Media Connections options over there. Part of the reason we founded that site was I worked with journalists for 15, 20 years, 15 years by the time we most probably started launching that baby, or at least I'm going to say that because that makes me feel younger. But part of the journey and part of the understanding of that process was the journalist, as much as they love working with publicists, if you can pitch your story in the right way, if you can understand the ingredients and the working and that sort of stuff, which currently we have a book coming together for, but even in Media Connections, we teach you how to write a press release as part of your membership. There's lots of places that you can learn how to put that stuff together. The source, they want to work with you, the source. So a publicist might be able to help you polish and pitch up that story in the right way that it needs to be pitched. And if you want to, if you don't have the time, then that's maybe when you want to bring someone in. But if you want to start your PR journey, start it by crafting your own releases. Start it by networking and touching base with journalists, following the journalists in the publications that you read on social media because you like their stuff. And because you better make sure that it's also the stuff that relates to your business, because if you happen to be following the gardening people and you're a business coach, for example, the gardening journalists are unlikely to write on your business, so don't pitch them that story.
Pretty true.
It's also about making sure that you pitch to the right people. So you pitch the right story to the right people. So in Media Connections, for example, we have categories, and one of the things we do in-house is when you submit it, because it affects us and everyone else, is we check that are the categories actually right for that press release. Because if you've ticked a category that doesn't match, it's only going to annoy the journalists that are in that category getting alerted to it, and it's only going to burn a bridge for both you and possibly future members down the track. So it's about making sure that if you've got a business story, then you're pitching to the business journalists. If you've got a gardening story, you pitch to the gardening journalists, and vice versa. It's like everything. You don't market to the wrong audience when you're marketing. You want to make sure you're marketing to the right people, and PR is no different when it comes to that. But finding a publicist or finding someone to coach you through that process is all about actually just making sure the fit is right, making sure they understand your business. You want a publicist or a PR consultant that eyes light up when you tell them what your story is and you tell them what your business is, and they start spurting ideas at you, okay? And if they can't shut up, normally that means that they've got a really good campaign. So they've got multiple ideas coming at you. This is going, yeah, we could do this, we could do that. Oh, what about this? That's the publicist you want to work with, not the one that's really hard to drag ideas out of. But the publicist with the ideas also needs to be able to follow through for you. So they need to help you get your press releases together, get your media kit together. But before we start working with PROs, there's a couple of things we need to do first.
Okay. Do tell.
We need
Do tell.
we need to actually have a look at what we're saying about ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. As business owners, especially small business owners, we quite often will say, I'm just a small business owner. I'm just this, I'm just that. We need to get that terminology out of our mindset, because if we want the media to run with us, we've got to create a know, like, and trust factor, just like we do in the world of social media. And we need them to trust that you are actually an excellent and a valuable source.
Okay.
So we need to look at the terminologies about what we say. We also need to look at, if we've got staff and people working within our business, what they say about us. We need to do a quick Google search and make sure the picture on Google, because that's the first spot the journalist is going to go to. They're going to get your press release. They're going to look at that and go, okay, now just do my source check. They're going to Google you. Make sure that your Google profile is representing who you are in the business. So if you've got some reviews that are maybe negative, and we all have negative reviews, we need to just deal with them and make sure that they're being dealt with, so that if it delves into those sorts of things. And if we have a PR problem from a reviews point of view, that we have heaps of negative reviews and we haven't dealt with them, then we maybe need to look at the customer service issues before we open up the door of PR, because once the journalist sees that, they're going to delve into, try and worm their way through it. Now, I don't mean 2 or 3 negative reviews as lots of reviews, but I mean, if you've got 50 or 60 negative reviews, you've got a problem you need to look at that PR won't fix.
Yeah.
And you need to get that fixed before you go to PR.
Okay. So without giving too much away, because I know you're actually running a course at the moment on PR. So how does one start writing a press release, and what makes a good press release?
Okay, for starters, you can head to the Media Connections website, head to the resource room, and there's a whole heap of free templates in there. So that's not going to give too much away. That will help you get the formula for what a press release is. It's about doing a formula. So it's about understanding what the headline is, understanding that you've got, the eye leads towards dot points, understanding that the journalist does not care how this is going to affect your business. What they care about is how it's going to relate to their readers. So if you start going in, we did this and we did that, and, I feel really good about this, no one's going to care about that. You care about that, your team care about that, your family and friends most probably care about it, your supporting business people care about that. But the journalists and the media, they want to know how it's creating impact to the world. So say, for example, we take Rose, who's, offering business services and getting people online right now. Rose might do a press release about the top 5 things a business owner needs to know about going online. Okay, and she writes an educational third-party bit, and she takes some quotes from herself about, we need to make sure our branding matches, we need to make sure all of these things happen. She puts some key statements in there, but she trades some knowledge and some expertise to touch base with the media and starts to run that through that formula. It is not a War and Peace document. These documents max out at 750 words. They're not War and Peace. They're about enticing the journalist to come and work with you. And plus, you've got to bear in mind that if you're going to appear in the newspaper or the magazine, there's not actually a lot of words that go with your article.
No.
So you've got to have it short and succinct. You don't need to want to go too wordy. And remember what's in it for the reader. What is the reader going to get advantage of? What's the publication going to get advantage? Are people going to click? Are they going to want to read that story? Are they going to want to open up the magazine to read that? So 5 things that business owners can do to get online right now is something that someone's going to click on, or they're going to open up and read that story. So by sharing that education, you can really tap into it. Now, PR doesn't happen to be just press releases. You can article write, so you can guest write for publications, and I know Rose has for our business publication in the past. But you can write, and you can guest post, and you can guest blog. You can appear on podcasts, and you can say to people, this is my area of expertise. I've got these 3 points that I'd love to have a chat to you about. You can do what we're doing now. You can be on the About the Expert section. So this is all PR. PR isn't just what I like to, print journalists and TV journalists out there, isn't all about your ego media where you actually appear on a public, in the newspaper, or you appear in the magazine, or you appear on the TV show. PR is about everything that you do that leads to your business. So podcasts, online media. And if you're an online business owner, The TV stuff is actually harder to get people to engage with because they're going to see you on TV. They're going to remember they saw you on TV by, most probably making the kids breakfast or whatever they were doing through that time, rushing out the door, go to work, do what they got to do. Remember they saw you on TV, then type it into the internet and then find you. If you're an online business, you want the online publication so that when they find you, they can click on you.
Yeah. Okay, so having dealt with that bit, that was really good. And what's the Media Connections website? So we'll go there and get the free resources.
Mediaconnections.com.au, up the very top menu, and the black one you'll find the resource room, and that's got tips on how to do things. And later on today on the Media Connections Facebook page, I will be live with the August release ideas.
Great. So
coming out with some different angles you can tap into.
Good. And I've just lost my question then. Oh, yes. What's the best time to send through a media release?
Okay. It depends on the publication and the outlet that you're working with. We at Media Connections, we run Monday to Friday, and we run a launch at 8 a.m. in the morning, 10, 12 and 2. So we run different releases just to get you out to the newsrooms based on when you get your release into us. We then have an email alert that goes out to all of our journalist networks, as well as the social media stuff that goes out at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's just allowing us to give them a summary of what's been going live on site throughout the day. The most popular days on site at the moment is a Thursday. So that seems to be the trending day where we get our most traffic to the site, not saying releases submitted, but the most traffic to the site tends to be a Thursday. In my experience, I want my press releases for my clients going out Tuesday or Thursday. Monday, everyone's got into the office. And they're just a little bit, what are we doing for the week? Or they've got into their home office at the moment, currently with COVID. And then by Friday, they're wrapping up their story. So they're on deadline. They're wrapping up what they need to get finished for the week. So I tend to find that Tuesdays and Thursdays are a good way to be able to break the preoccupation. And it seems that we have the best open rates on those days. But the reality of it is, if you've got a story that is in the news right now and trending absolutely now, and you're going to newsjack, which is another story that we talk about tapping into a story that's already on the news and giving a different opinion, you don't wait. You get that press release out as quick as you can, or the pitch or the response, because it's all about being quick and first on scene.
Okay, so I've heard that what you've just mentioned there about if something's trending at the moment and you get your opinion out there, there is a name for that, and I can't.
Newsjacking.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. Yeah. So like you're a vet for an example, and perhaps you've seen an article in the local newspaper, and so you piggyback onto that. And
absolutely. So you've only got to look at today's newspaper or today's news for press release ideas and angles that will help you tap into different things. So news makes news. If it's already in the news, the media are wanting to talk about it. So that's, if you can add a different angle, if you can add a different spice to it, if you can engage in some way, shape or form, then that's really good. So health advisors right now, different things about COVID-19, how to make masks, how to wear your mask most appropriately, especially if you're Melbourne based right now, is going to be trending. It's a trending topic. It's stuff that people want to see expertise on. There was a Media Connections member who had a story run. They're a not-for-profit, and this clothing company in Melbourne had changed their operations, and they had Channel 7 and Channel 9 News there running a story on how the donations coming through to the charity were working with the face masks, and this was actually before face masks were mandatory inside Melbourne. Okay. But it was a really good trending topic, and the business had changed, and they'd worked out the business was doing good, and when you do good, it works really well with the media. When you do something good, the business was doing good. They changed their operations, they kept their staff employed, they were making masks. So this is what we're doing that's really good, and we're donating a percentage of the profits through to Impact, which was great. And that meant that not only were they doing good, so the story had human interest angle, it promoted the business for what good they were doing, it got them out there, but they had two, it's not exactly always heard of that you'll have two news channels run the same story. But they had two news channels run the same story that night.
Lucky them.
And that was really good. So look, they run it in different angles, but it's not always the same night. But if you look at the how did you do good stuff, that was the newsjacking. So what they've done is they've taken the suggestions about wearing masks and they said, this is how we're doing it.
Cool. So what is, I guess, getting down to the dollars and cents, I'm not specifically asking what your firm charges, but what could people be looking at as far as having a PR consultant work for
Okay,
them?
you'll be looking anywhere between okay, press release wise, one press release, and I can give you our figures because they're on the website anyway. For Media Connections figures, they're on the website anyway. To have one press release written, you're looking between the $250 to $500 mark, depending on how much research needs to go on the release, how much information needs to go in there. So our price is $297 for that one. To have something reviewed, you're looking about the $100 mark. So if you're put a press release together and you've got it all there and it doesn't need a complete rewrite, then you can have a publicist review somewhere between the $100 and $200 mark to get you started, to help you get started throughout that journey. To become a Media Connections member and start getting us nagging you on your press case and reminding you and giving you ideas and prompts and all of that sort of stuff, that you're looking at about the 500. Your entry level for that is $595 for the year. Your full on access on component of that is, and where you get to work with me once a month, is $995. So that gives you a bit of an idea. $7. $7. Sorry, but $997 and $597. I will get my prices right in a minute. That will help. That gives you a bit of an idea about the DIY stuff. If you're coming and working with a publicist, so on a strategy and a retainer basis, you'll be looking, depending on the campaign, anywhere between the $2,500 to $5,000 for a small campaign, for like a 6-week or 8-week campaign, where there's multiple press releases. And bearing in mind the publicist at that stage is most probably going to be hitting the phones, for making some couple of calls for a journalist, as well as using, release distribution sites and those sorts of things. It's about making sure that that investment is right for your business, though, because I see lots of business owners come to us for PR and what they really want is marketing. Okay. So it's about making sure, if you don't have the $2,500 to invest in PR, because it's a gamble, we can't control what the journalist is going to do. It's very much a gamble industry. We can't control what the journalists are going to do on the other end. We can only hope and pray that we get the formula right. And that's what, years of experience in industry brings for you. But what we can, if you can't afford to do that, then I would suggest you look at it in marketing, and you look at putting the money into marketing where you can see a return on investment, or Facebook ads or something like that. And that's only because I know what it's like as a small business owner to be sat here and go, which of the two options do I choose? And if you can't afford to risk that money and you need to see a return for it, then my advice always is go with marketing first, come to PR when you're ready.
Okay, so that's really great advice. So your business does marketing as well, not just PR consulting?
We are a course creation, and we're a brand agency. As much as my roots are in PR, I'm a troubleshooter by trade, and I've been marketing these businesses since 2009, in-house of what we do here. Look, I like to see you take your idea to market. So that's what we do. We help business owners go through that process and share their story. And still, PR and public relations isn't just, it's part, the way I describe this is your PR and your marketing, your sales all go together. Every action actually has a reflection on the other action. So if you share your story with the media, it becomes part of your marketing message. It's got to match that marketing message, which has got to match the way that how you sell actually all fits together. So it's one department that comes over and looks at the brand message, the brand story, and telling that story. And under that brand story and that brand messaging department is your marketing people, your PR people, or you doing your marketing and you doing your PR and you doing your sales. And they all fit together, and it's all about creating relationships, because relationships, even in the sales point of view, is all about relationships. Your marketing is all about the relationship that you build with people and how people perceive you. And since the invention of social media, PR has become more and more every interaction we have with people. Because, you used to be able to do flyers and letterbox drops, and, if it didn't work, no one cared. You used to be able to run an ad, and if it worked, great. Otherwise it was gone in 2 days. No one forgot it, that people forgot about it. But social media leaves you a history.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately or fortunately, either way, I'm not really sure.
If you're doing the right thing in business, then it's the good. Okay history for you.
It is good. So I guess to finish up today, what advice would you have for a small business owner wanting to go down the road of public relations or marketing?
Okay. Right now, have a look at your story. Have a look at what makes you unique. Whatever makes you unique is what's going to be the human interest angle of your story. So why did you start your business, for example? The why behind what you did. And, for some people that will be, I just wanted to get out of the corporate world. Why did you want to get out of the corporate world? What indicated you there? What pushed you within those areas? And then have a look at the story, so the key things that you've achieved, and write down what you've achieved. What have we done really, really well? What are we most proud of here as an organization? What's unique and what's different about what we do, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, what makes you unique? Okay. And then start to get all of those together as your assets, because they're your assets. They're the things you can shout about. Make sure you have a look at your reviews and your testimonials. And if you haven't got them, go and ask people for them. Go and ask people to leave you a review and a testimonial so that you've got the opportunity for people to be able to interact with you. And then start to slowly look at where your audience is. So whether it's publications, whether it's marketing, whether it's whatever channel you're looking for, look at where they are. If they're Facebook users, start ramping up your Facebook. If they're Instagram users, start ramping up your Instagram. If they're YouTube people, you ramp up your YouTube. And then it's all about attracting those people through multiple touches and multiple layers. And same with journalists. Whatever publication they look for, go follow them. Go and see how they write. What style do people want to be? And if you don't know where your audience hangs out, once again, ask them. Your people will tell you a lot if you engage in a conversation and you have a relationship with them. And then it's about chipping at what can you do first? What's manageable and what can we do first? And get one thing right and then bring in the next thing. Because if you try and do it all at once, you will get overwhelmed and your head will explode.
Yes, I can very well relate to that. Yes, when I first started, my head was just like,
It's overwhelming.
I printed everything marketing, and it didn't do me a damn bit of good. So there you go.
Look, I think there's also this was something we were talking about actually in the course creation space a little while ago. Pick one expert.
Yeah.
Pick one or two experts that you want to follow and trust their advice. If you listen to every expert out there, you're going to get overwhelmed. And I do things differently to other course creators out there. I do things differently to other marketers out there. I do things differently to other branding coaches out there. And that's mainly because I stand with most of my small business owners and I love the startup phase. Like, the beautiful thing about what I do is I get to work with business owners when they're in the startup phase and their ideas are fresh. And that means that we've got to look at, how do we bootstrap this? How do we do this with little or no money? We don't have the budget to put, $10,000 behind marketing. So we look at creative ways to do this sort of stuff. But I also love those wins, because those first wins for business owners are so meaningful. We should celebrate them all.
Yes. So just getting onto the marketing or reviews, I should say.
Yep.
Where is the best place to ask for people to leave a review or testimonial? Is it on Facebook? Is it on Google My Business, or where is the best place? On your website?
Both. All. Okay.
All,
there's a really cool app that we have just started using in-house, actually, called Repuso, and it will bring together all of the reviews that you get on Facebook or Google My Business into one spot. So you can bring it and put it on your website, and it puts up this beautiful little graphic that says who you are and what you do. And we're using it on the Enever Group side as we build it right now. And the reason I like that is it allows you to be able to be there, but where your people are comfortable.
Yeah.
So if they're engaged with you on Facebook, you ask for them to leave you a review on Facebook. If they're engaged with you through Google, you might ask for Google. Or make it part of, but asking for reviews, make it part of your process. If you finish wrapping up with a client and you've given great service, or you've got off a call and they've given you a testimonial, or they've sent you an email that says, hey, that was really amazing, thank you so much for saving my life. These are the times that you send them an email and you say, thank you so much for that feedback. That was amazing. I really, really loved it. I would really appreciate it if you could take a moment to leave that as a testimonial review, either on our Facebook page, our Google page, our LinkedIn, or my LinkedIn profile. Give them the links. Yep. Okay, and ask them to do it. And if you make that part of every time someone gives you some amazing feedback, you'll find that your reviews and your testimonials grow.
That's a great idea.
And the same thing when you wrap up with a client, this great, fantastic, how's it gone? It's gone really well. Fantastic. If you could possibly leave me a review, either here, or here, let them have the choice. And they'll use the platform they use most.
This is why you do what you do, because you're just so good at it.
I love what I do.
Of course you do. I know you do. All right. So what is your next course, and how do people...
What is my next course? There's two underway. There's two underway at the moment. We're running a opt-in and lead page course in training day in October. Sorry, not October, in August. So that's talking about how to create enticing lead pages. But for those of you who are wanting to be the expert or be the go-to in your field, give me till Monday. And we will have the 30-day challenge running in October on building your profile and your expertise as in being an expert. So how to be a good media source, how to build your profile, how to guest post and make the most out of those opportunities. So the focus will be how to be seen, be the expert, be knowledgeable, be known, and be accessible and be searchable.
Wow, that's a lot. And
there's a lot of
can they
bees
get
in that
touch
one.
with you, Linda?
Most probably easiest way is through my website, lindareedenever.com.au, or just type in Linda Reed-Enever into Google, because I think I've done my job on myself pretty well and you can find me.
Yes, definitely have. All right, Linda, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we won't be too long before we can talk again with each other.
That would be great. Rose, thank you so much for having me on. And these opportunities are so great, guys. Make sure you take in the most of the information these experts share with you.
All right, thanks, Linda. Bye for now.
Bye.